Hi. Thanks, Tim. My name is Lovegrove. I'm the oldest looking designer on the planet, and I'm in a bad mood because there's just too much going on. It's just too much pressure this summer, so please excuse my mood. I'm fitting this in. And I have my elderly parents here this week, so in between all my going to Dubai, being here and all things, if I'm in a cranky mood, it's because it's just too much. It's called everywhere and nowhere, everything and nothing. So that's my statement about design. Anyway, how design affects the world. If you had to select one design that has made the most impact on the world, what would it be? Well, I'm not going to say the iPod or anything like that, because everybody's going to say that. I really don't know. Maybe it's not important that design can really affect the world. I think design should just be the kind of free-fall biodiversity of possibility. And I think things are not better, they're just different. So it's hard to relate a chair to an iPhone. So I think it's really unfair to ask that question. So maybe other designers will answer that in a more profound way. Who are your design influences? Well, I don't really think about designers particularly. I mean, I think Sotsas was the all-time great, maybe, because he could design as an industrial designer in the mold of George Nelson, but at the same time he rejected it. He rejected it in favor of things which were just more emotional, more truthful in their expression. You know, I was thinking the other day that design is expected. So design is expected and art is unexpected. So maybe design needs something unexpected in it. I'm not sure if art needs something expected. Design is a multiple voice profession and art is a singular voice expression. And I think you just got to ask yourself at the end of the day, what's the motivation? What's the motivation of the designer? Is it to lift people's spirits? Is it to motivate people? Is it to inspire and how can I say, change people's perceptions? Or is it to make money? Leave me out of that one if you want. I think the commercial burden, the commercial expectation is too great. And now with the... you're right there, Tim? Yeah. Commercial. Sorry, just leave it. The commercial expectation and the sort of change in the whole landscape recently means it's divided into camps. It's divided into camps of people who are totally paranoid and need to dumb down. And there are camps who really want to innovate. You know, I'm quite lucky because I work with a couple of companies that want to innovate. So it kind of suits me quite well. Yeah. Who are your design influences and where do you see the future of design heading? Well, I don't know. There's just an explosion in design. Everybody's a designer these days. I know so many sons and daughters now of friends who want to be a designer. Why? Because they think it's glamorous, they think they can earn a lot of money, they think they can travel, and they think it's funky and groovy. Fine. Yeah, fine. So, maybe that's the way it is. Maybe that's the beauty of the objective, if you like. But I think there's a naivety there which is mind-blowing about the amount of effort it takes to think things through and to have the time to be able to reject what you do in favor of something you believe in. And there's never enough. It's never, the future of design it's just dissipating. I was brought up on a diet of the great masters, people like Castiglione, Sotsas, and so on, who had a kind of deep, profound philosophy that people wanted to follow. And there was a very direct link to industrialists and makers Those people hardly travel, by the way, in the way that people like myself are expected to travel today in order to earn a living and to participate. It's truly become a global phenomenon, design. And what I miss within my culture is nobody makes anything anymore. We just manipulate money. And none of that wealth ever comes across London to here. I have to go to the airport all the time to go out grazing in order to connect, to do things. It's fine. You catch me on a good day, I'm really happy about it. You catch me on a bad day, I can walk away from the lot. So where's the future of design headed? If you take that initial leadership, which is the post-war group, who really had great integrity. It was like a schooling in a way. Then the descendants of that group, people like Michele De Lucchi and so on, they represent something else. And now you've got sort of my generation, which is the 50-year-old generation, which went from the compass and the pencil and the tracing paper to the ink and the razor blade, through into early computing and now into full-on kind of use of software in order to describe and communicate and create the work we do. That means that anybody on a laptop anywhere can do what I do. Yeah? So there's hundreds of thousands of these people, and it's just proliferating. So it's fine. I don't think it'll ever shrink back to the process that I was describing before. I mean, part of it positively is important because it allows somebody like me to work with materials and technology and form and to do things I couldn't do in the past. But there are these young designers who come out and they think, they can copy something, and that thing that they copy has all the integrity and the belief systems in it that people like myself put into those things. And it's strictly not true. There are great designers living today. I think people like Konstantin Gricic is probably the most consummate, accomplished industrial designer. I think his method and his way and his joy of communication is extraordinary. I love him for it. So these are the benchmarks. And I do feel as if there's something wrong with design education too. I think it's teaching all the wrong directives. So where's the future design headed? Well, of course, it's going to embed issues of ecology, environmentalism, sustainability, all of those things. But those should be as automatic as a car radio or a CD in a car. That's a global governmental, policy-driven way of thinking. And people like myself, for many, many years, have participated in trying to design things which combine logic and beauty in that field, from solar trees to solar bud lights to the world's lightest suitcase of 1.35 kilos, which I did recently, or to draw awareness to the value of water in my water bottle. So maybe that's recognized or respected, maybe it's not. For people like me, I often feel like marginalized, a freak. I don't fit into any of the taste categories that people are creating these days. I really am not part of any movement or group, and I don't know where that leaves me. I live in London. I do the best I can. I really try and push things forward in the digital realm, investigate how materials can be expressed in a beautiful way, invest in limited edition pieces that I make and I pay for in order to reinforce my philosophy. Nothing more than that. I'm not there to capitalize on that in the way that other people do. I am a bit worried. I'm a bit worried because design has become blurred between the sort of craft-based entity, and I think people less and less understand how difficult it is and how much investment it takes to be a good industrial designer and to do things like that that's pointing at me right now. So, bit of a moany day, but it's because it's pouring with rain out there, and I promised my mum and dad an hour ago that I would take them to the V&A for lunch. So that's what I'm doing. Enjoy the whole thing, the design and the world, and just remember this: everywhere and nowhere, everything and nothing. the insanity of humanity. How beautiful is that? Enjoy. Ciao.